Coffee and Headlines is brought to you by the generous support of our viewers and the following community partners: Best Cord Cutting TV, Bravo's Restaurant Bar, El Rey Lounge de Versalles, Joint Boutique Hotel and Co-work, Puerto Vallarta Neurofeedback, Puerto Vallarta Owners Reps, Oculto, and Siam Cocina Thai. Thank you for your support, and thank you for supporting our community partners. Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to Coffee and Headlines. It is Saturday. It is the end of another week. It is a pleasure to see you today on Saturday, February the 8th. I hope you have great plans for the weekend. I don't have any plans, but that is exactly how I want it. Today, as usual, we have gathered some news from our city, state, and national sources, and we're looking forward to seeing some of the questions and comments you bring to the table. As usual, if you have something really important to say, it helps a great deal if you add a capital letter Q at the beginning of your comment. And if you are watching live for the first time and would like a nice little welcome, a capital letter N for new would be awesome. We'll just say hello. And of course, if you're watching in the background or if you're watching later on in the day, we love the silent majority as well. We love the fact that you've carved some time in your busy schedule to stay in touch with what's going on here in Puerto Vallarta. And speaking of, let us get started with our news for this morning. And the first bit of news that I have is good news. The first long weekend of 2025 left more than 811 million pesos in economic benefits for the state of Jalisco, with an influx of some 429,000 visitors, mainly domestic. Among the most popular destinations were Chapala, Costalegre, Guadalajara, San Juan de los Lagos, and of course Puerto Vallarta, according to the original reports from the state's tourism industry. The next long, the next long weekend will be on March 17, which is when we celebrate the birth of Benito Juarez, former president of Mexico, and an important figure in our history. This is also good news. 76 new public transport buses are due to arrive in Puerto Vallarta today, but they will not be put into service right away since they have to be labeled and equipped with very important air conditioning. But they must be in circulation no later than February 17, announced the governor of Jalisco, Pablo Lemus Navarro, in a brief tour he held through the region. The governor recalled that there is a comprehensive plan to modernize public transportation in our city that involves the acquisition of electric buses for Francisco Medina Asensio Avenue, but that won't happen until October of this year. Meanwhile, there is an emergency plan to cover the shortage of buses on some of the 31 routes in our city. During his working tour of the region, Governor Lemus also led the laying of the first stone of the Hotel Chablais, the first of three hotels that will make up the El Tescamale Costalegre development. This is south of Puerto Vallarta. This complex will cover 21.7 hectares and will be built under a low-density model and respect for the environment. The initiative seeks to consolidate Costalegre as a first-class tourism destination with sustained growth over the next 2 decades. And of course, to complement that, while in Costalegre, Governor Lemus also announced that the Chalacatepec Airport will be ready for its official inauguration between September and October, with the aim of boosting tourism in the Costalegre region. And this is all great news. Now, I have some controversial news that don't necessarily have a lot to do with Puerto Vallarta, but they do have a lot to do with Mexican culture. And this deserves some context. Let me get started with that. We're going to talk about corridos tumbados, also known as trap corridos. This is a subgenre of regional Mexican music, specifically of the corrido, with musical elements of a narco corrido and rap music. Its style originated in the mid 2010s, starting in 2020. It was popularized by Mexican musician Nathanael Cano, who we see in the middle of this photograph with big sunglasses. Now, there's nothing wrong with any of this, but of course, the subject matter of a lot of these corridos tumbados has to do with violent crime, with gangs, and so forth and so on. So it is controversial. It's not palatable to some people. And now Nayarit took a step in relation to the prohibition of corridos tumbados, and now the dissemination of this musical genre is forbidden in the state of Nayarit. Peso Pluma, Natanael Cano, and Fuerza Regida, among other corridos tumbados artists, will no longer be able to perform in the state of Nayarit. And since last Tuesday, the state government forbid the interpretation and reproduction of their music at any public event. When asked about it, President Sheinbaum chimed in during her morning press conference this morning, actually, refusing to be in favor of banning corridos tumbados as the government of Nayarit did, prohibiting the public performance and reproduction of music that apologizes for crime. She said, I do not agree with banning. I agree with raising awareness, with education, with opening new forms of corridos tumbados that have nothing to do with glorifying violence, drugs, or discrimination against women, said our president. So, what she didn't say, but I think should be very clear to many, is that forbidding a musical expression is something that gets too close to issues that have to do with freedom of speech. I know that some types of music are not comfortable. I know that some of the subject matter is thought provoking, but where do you draw the line between forbidding something and curtailing or eliminating freedom of speech? I think is going to be an interesting thing to see in the future as more repercussions of this prohibition take place elsewhere in the country. I thought you'd want to know. And now let's take a look at the weather. The weather tells us, let's see, nothing fun ever happens when the sun is out. I think I disagree with that. It is 23 degrees right now. Humidity is at 62%. And our weather forecast for today says we're going to have clear skies throughout the day with a high of 26 and a low of 14. Then tomorrow, Sunday, again, clear skies through the day with a high of 27 and a low of 16. And we begin the week with more clear skies, a high of 27 and a low of 14. So our low temperature continues to stay where it's been for the past few weeks. So we can expect that it'll continue to be chilly in the morning and in the evening. Chilly by local standards. I know that some of you come from snowland and this is heavenly, but for us, it continues to be a chilly situation early in the mornings. Now, I have three more announcements that are not Facebook events, but I happened to see them as I was checking my Facebook feed this morning, and I think you might find them interesting. The first one comes from the city. The city of Puerto Vallarta has announced a new expo called AgroFest that will take place on February 22nd and 23rd at Parque Hidalgo. Not much information is provided about this one, but the images shown here, and I'm talking about the ones on the right-hand side of your screen, suggest that a variety of regional agricultural products will be available for purchase, and that is my cup of tea. I love artisanal and regional products, so we'll keep an eye on this one, and we'll share more information if it becomes available. A second event that I want to talk about comes from our friends at CR Deportes y Entretenimiento, who are already promoting the next Lucha Libre event, which will take place at La Lija on March 1st. You know the drill. We have lots of fun going to these, and it'll be fun. It'll be fun. Tickets are already available for purchase, and we'll keep an eye on more information as the date approaches. And the third event that caught my attention this morning is the city is also promoting this cacao festival that will take place on March 6th to 9 here in Puerto Vallarta, and then also from March 14 to 16 in Yelapa. This is the third edition of this event that will feature conferences, workshops, crafts, music, and cacao based products available for purchase. Again, these are brand new events to me, and I'll continue to keep track of these and other events that you may want to attend as we move forward for the next week. And Logan, if you're watching for the Lucha Libre, Jacob is going to be fighting. So there you go. I'm going to leave it at that. Let's see what we have today. Lots of good mornings, which I appreciate. Hello, Judy from Lomas de Coapinole. Purum pum pum. Hola, Cluster from Centro's Well watching deck. I love it. I love it. It's good to read you, Albert. It's great to read all of you. Let's see, my dear friend Eric and community partner friend, my dear friend and community partner Eric, that's what I'm trying to say, is chiming in. It's great to see you, Eric. Let's see what else. Albert, being an artist, I knew you would chime in on this one. Good luck banning anything relating to art. It always finds a way, especially if authorities take a hard approach. Well, that's why I thought it was interesting, because art imitates life. And of course, I've listened to some of this music, and some of the music is really fascinating. The lyrics are really a snapshot of some people's reality. And I think that when we normalize things like that, it becomes uncomfortable. But of course, we're not going to have a big discussion about this here because it's really not the right place to do so. But you want to keep in mind that this is happening. Let's see. But Daniel chimes in. I love it. Doesn't history show that prohibition of anything only emboldens the cause? You watch. Prohibition is probably the best thing to happen to this genre of music. I know. So we'll see what's going on. Albert says, Agrofest Raicilla, question mark. More than likely, Albert, I'm sure that we will see Raicilla there. Again, the announcement was not very specific, but if it's agricultural products from the region, I love those, and I think you enjoy them as well, so it might be a fun event to attend. Yes, Laura has this down. Agrofest looks like sauces and wine and specialty local items that would be fun to attend. I'm glad we're not the only ones. Bring on Jacob, the golden boy. I already checked and my work schedule is wide open the evening of March 1st. So at least that makes two of us that are going to Lucha Libre. I think it's awesome. Oh my God, I'm blushing. I love it. Let's see. Oh, that makes three of us. Lucha Libre. Lars has not had enough. I love it, Lars. I love your Lucha Libre dance, which I've been able to see. I hope you will manifest the same dance if we go back. And let's see. I think this is all that we have, at least at my end. I hope you have a great weekend. I am going to try to catch up with Severance. There's a new episode out there. If you're not watching Severance, you're not watching one of the most intriguing, fascinating, weird but beautifully put together television show that I've seen in a long time. And of course, my audiobook these days is the first of the trilogy of Silo. So I'm enjoying that very much. I'm going to enjoy it today as I am walking to the supermarket to do some groceries. Let's see. I think we're done. Yes, I think we're done. So it is, as always, a pleasure to connect with you today and every day that we connect. Tomorrow is Sunday, so we'll take a little bit of a break, but we'll be back on Monday morning with more coffee, more headlines, more stories, and more fun. Have a great weekend, and I'll see you again on Monday morning.